All right. It is Thursday, May 2nd, and it's just after 8:45 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I am ending my day early here, as you can see here. Um, I had a trade I took a loss on PA8, as you can see here in gray. And it was a bad trade, honestly. It was a poor decision, a poor trade, and it led to some frustration. Not because I lost, but because of the decision I made to take the trade, and really my lack of kind of thinking through whether or not I should take the trade before just kind of impulsively jumping in. So just kind of being a little bit tough with myself today, and that's the frustration. It's again, it's not that I took a loss, and it's not that I lost $500 on the PA itself. It's really, when I get into talking about the trade specifically, but it is this one right here with the red arrow. Um, it's because of the reasons that were plainly obvious to stay out of the trade, and the fact that just wasn't even aware of it, and I just jumped in without considering what I was doing. Um, that's the thing that I got frustrated with about myself. And I thought I was past that. And I guess you can never truly be past these sorts of things. They're going to happen from time to time. And I got to remember that and not be so tough on myself. But at the same time, it was just like, it was so obvious to stay out of the trade. And as soon as I entered it and it started going directly against me right away, I knew it was like, oh, this is just a bad trade. And that led to some other things that I realized quickly that I just wasn't even aware where I was on the chart, and just all kinds of things. So when I talk about that trade, I'll get into some of those details about why I was frustrated with myself today. And then on top of that, for anyone that joined me in the live stream while it was live, the my stream is typically delayed like anywhere from, like, I don't know, 8 seconds to maybe 30, 40 seconds. And that's been kind of the maximum delay. Today was a weird day. I noticed on my first stream, because I had two streams today, my first stream at the normal time that I started, I had noticed after some amount of time, it was like 8 or 10 minutes behind. It was really ridiculous. And at the time, I didn't have anyone in the chat. And so it wasn't really a problem as far as that was concerned. But I was thinking about, well, if someone comes into the chat, they're going to be 10 minutes behind. If they say something in the chat, they wouldn't even hear my response for 10 minutes. So I shut down the stream, tried to restart a new stream, and it didn't take long before that stream fell, 4 or 5 minutes behind as well. And at that point, I did have some people coming into the chat, and so I was just even more frustrated on top of being frustrated with myself, because now the one reason to stick around if I wasn't going to trade anymore would be just to chat on the stream for a little bit and watch the charts. So all of that combined just led to me deciding to end the stream early today and trading early today. And so I finished the day 2-1, and $522 hit on PA8. I mean, in the big scheme of things, it's not that big of a deal. It's the first loss I've taken on the account. It's a 6-day traded. So I was up a little over $800, 850 or whatever it was. So now I'm only up 348. Got a long way to go to a payout. But big picture wise, I've still got almost a full 2,000 drawdown. So it won't take much to get this account right back to where it was. And I gotta just keep that in mind, and not let that bother me. And it really isn't the loss, and it really isn't anything other than just making a bad decision to take a trade I know better than to take. So that's the deal there. But on the positive side, I did have 2 wins today, and the big news is that I did pass evaluation 33. I took this trade on the open. So 33, you can see here, Made $308. I traded it with 3 contracts on the open, knowing that I needed that much to pass it in one more trade. So got that one passed. Also took the open on account 39, which is a new evaluation. It's the first day I traded on that. Made $308 on that as well. And then on top of that, I took the open with PA7, and one contract made $106. And then I did have one other trade with my regular scalping system, and I got a win on PA9, which is my brand new PA, which replaced the one that I just lost yesterday. And so that's the first day traded on that, made $72. So having said all that, the 80% discount is still going on. You can use this code or any other, 1 day pass, and half resets all the way through the end of May 31st. And so yeah, 2 and 1 for the day, 67%. The opening trade, back in its winning ways. So 14 and 1 now, 93% overall on that setup, the open trade, what I call the Op Orb, and 7-3 for the week. So, a less than stellar week, but, could be worse, could be better. Overall, look, I'm passing evals and gaining PAs, and I'm now, back to 4 PAs overall for tomorrow. So that's the most PAs I've had at one time since I started this journey, and I got 5 PAs altogether last year, and then blew those up 1 through 5. So now I've got 7 through 9, and hopefully in the next couple days I can pass this one as well, and I'll be back up to 5 PAs, which will be the most I've ever had, tied for as many as I had before, like I said. So, and then 3 evaluations behind those. That hopefully I can work towards passing those slowly over time. And the hope and dream, since I have no payouts still to date, the hope and dream is that I can get 1, 2, 3, 4, or maybe even 5 payouts, some number of payouts at the same time that I'll eventually pass these 3 accounts, right? And so then I'll get the ball rolling. So whether it's 1 payout, 2 payouts, 3 payouts, whatever it is, hopefully those will be happening and coinciding shortly thereafter, or around the same time of passing more and having more PAs to follow it up with. Having said all that, let's take a look at the trades and get this thing reviewed and wrapped up. All right, so here we go. Here's the 1 minute chart for the whole session, and make this bigger here. So essentially this is what I was looking at the open, and we were in this range kind of earlier on, and then as I came on the charts, it started making this move up, and this was really just a really easy play. Just wanted to be well above here, that I figured, okay, I didn't want to get faked out, so I didn't want to be too tight and then it go down to the downside. So also considering, you can see here, the previous day close was all the way down here, this blue line. And so we were well up. And yesterday the news with the FOMC was crazy. I wasn't around for that. But considering that the close was below previous day close, I definitely didn't want to get, trapped in being too tight on top. So I didn't want to get trapped in here if my entry was there, and then for it to go the other way, to go close the gap. So I was just well outside of that. It worked right away. It was kind of crazy because my chart froze and I couldn't even, nothing was moving. And it's the first time I've actually seen that happen. Usually there'll be a lag and I won't see it, but the chart will be moving, the bars will still be forming. It'll just be delayed. But this time just nothing was happening, and I was in and out of the trade, and the bar was finally all the way back down here before it was clear to me that I won the trade already. So it was really bizarre. It was kind of like a 40-second time period where I wasn't sure if I had won or if I was about to lose or what was going on. So anyway, that was a good trade for me. As we can see here, I traded on PA7, Eval 33, and Eval 39. I passed Eval 33 with that trade. with 3 contracts, like I said. So that'll be a PA for tomorrow. And, just the usual 22 ticks on that trade there. And I actually wanted to, after I won this trade, I wanted to get in for the short side too. And that's something I want to do sometimes, because a lot of times when this happens really fast like this, if it triggers the other side after a winner on the top side, you can take the bottom side and win another time. I was considering changing it to another account, on just one account, and taking it to the short side after the win. But it happened too fast. I wasn't able to switch accounts. I was still kind of recovering from being in shock that everything froze. I wasn't sure if I won or lost yet. And so it really wasn't long by the time this candle closed, where I was like, oh, I actually did win, and then could have switched up accounts and tried to take the short side. So that's something that I've noticed, like a lot of times you can take both sides, and usually both sides will end up winning in a situation like this. All right, so that's trade 1 and the opening trade. And again, the Alp Orb opening trade, 14-1 for me on Apex accounts. So 14 wins out of 15 tries. And then there were 2 days where I didn't take the trade. I wasn't able to take the trade. So out of 17 days, 14-1. All right, let's move on to trade number 2, which is the trade that really ruined my day, let's say. Here we go. All right, here we go. This is a tick chart. Now, for anyone that hasn't followed me, what I do is I look for tick charts where every single second entry on the chart has worked for my profit target, and those are the charts I trade. I look for 3 or 4 of them, and if a chart picks up a losing entry, then I'll stop using that chart. I'll try to find another one and continue my day that way, but I won't trade on the same chart again after an entry doesn't work. And as you can see here, this is where my losing trade of the day was. I took this on PA8, and as you can see, lost $523 basically. Now this one, I started my stream around here, 7 a.m. West Coast, and this thing was steadily moving down. And I was talking about the opening trade. I was talking about just some thoughts I was having, and then in the corner of my eye, it was basically like this. In the corner of my eye, I saw this, and it was a second entry. Here's the new high, first entry, the second entry. And because I saw it just right as the bar was coming to a close, my brain registered it as, well, it's a play off of the previous day close, and it's a new low off of this. So on a winning chart where no second entries is lost. And so my thought was, okay, it'll use that level and I'll get enough of a bounce to get my profit target. But the key thing for me that I overlooked, and I really, I should be past the point of overlooking something like this. It's just so obvious. Is we're shy of the previous day close, and that's a gap, right? If we open all the way up here and the previous day closes here on a daily chart that's not showing the after hours of the regular session, there's a gap from when the market opens here to where it closed at the 4 Eastern close. So I know that when it's coming down like this, it wants to close the gap. That's generally what the market does every single day. It closes the gap and then goes on to do whatever it wants to do for the rest of the day, especially when it's before 10:30 Eastern. So first mistake is I got a setup and we're just shy of the previous day close. That's a trade I can't take. I skipped that trade 9 out of 10 times. 10 out of 10 times. I don't know why, just that one reason alone, I should skip that trade, because I know the destination is to close the gap. Being this close isn't closing the gap. It's more likely to actually get there than not. And for whatever reason, I just completely overlooked that. And then not only that, but I overlooked where I was on this chart. I just started the stream. I just found my charts, and I started the stream. I was already just talking about something else, and I wasn't paying attention. And so I really didn't keep in mind at all where the previous day low was. I knew where the previous day close was. I was aware of it. I wasn't giving it enough attention that I should have been. And then I really had no idea where this yellow line was, which was the previous low from the previous day. And so I really had no idea where I was on my chart when I took this trade, and immediately it went against me, as we can see here. So I really made two critical mistakes. One is when I'm this close, when the chart's this close to closing the gap, like you don't want to take a setup until it happens. Like you don't want to take a setup just shy of it. It's going to close the gap. So that was my first mistake. The second mistake was I had no idea where the next level was. So I really need to be more aware of where price is on the chart when I'm going to take a trade. And it's nobody's fault but my own. I kind of came in, if you go back on and listen to or watch my live stream, if you watch it back, I kind of came in wanting to talk about some things. And so I started talking about them right away. And I impulsively took this trade. And you'll hear me stop like kind of mid-sentence and then wait for this bar to close. And then I take the trade and it immediately goes against me. And the second it started pulling back, I was like, oh, wait, I shouldn't be in this trade. This is a bad idea. And it was. And then secondarily, typically I don't want to put my stop below the signal bar candle anymore, but because I didn't know where I was on the chart, I had no idea what the next level was, where it was. And this was happening pretty fast coming down. I didn't want to put, the 50K account that I had, the current active one, at risk of a major bust or drawdown, not knowing where the next level was at all, and not having had checked it and had a plan before I was in the trade. So I just decided to take the small loss. It was a small bar. Thankfully, at least it was a small bar, 44 ticks. And so I don't know. I didn't even check what the actual loss was. Let's see here if I could figure it out. 650. Oh, wait, my entry was 49. So 9 plus another 11, 12 and a half points. So I lost 12 and a half points, right? But it could have been worse, But then the other thing is, if I had known where the next level was, this is kind of like mistake number 2. Maybe I would have just not taken the loss there with the expectation that, it broke through and closed the gap, but it very likely would have a bounce at the previous day low. And that's exactly what happened. And there was actually a trade set up on another chart here. And because I was just kind of so thrown off by my decision making, I let that trade go. And that was actually the trade on a different chart that I really should have taken. I think it was on this chart. I forget. Or it doesn't matter. But so that was definitely a mistake. And so I then was just frustrated with myself. And honestly, this is something I should be past. I should not be taking this trade. I know I don't want to take a trade just shy of closing the gap, and I need to know where the next level is. So I just need to register and know where I am on the chart and be aware of everything before I take my trades. 1 second, I'm going to take a quick break. My daughter is crying. I'm going to go check on her. All right. So yeah, little interruption there, but so yeah, I just, very frustrated that I took this trade. I know better than to take the trade. It was plainly obvious that we were going to the dashed blue line, the previous day close, and it was just a lack of awareness and a impulsive nature that crept back in, and I put myself in a bad trade. And these are the kinds of trades that I know to avoid. I had a 17-0 week and a 6-0 week. And it's because I was avoiding these kinds of trades. And now, this week I've got 3 losses already. So it's a subpar week for me. And, I need to just be a little bit more focused. And honestly, like taking that opening trade in the morning to a certain degree, like makes me feel a little bit invincible when it works for some reason. It's got this, it's got a great effect because it takes the pressure off of needing to take more trades, but at the same time, it worked so good that you just think that every trade's going to work, you know. But this was a bad trade, and I'm just going to learn from it. I'm going to remember the mistake I made here, and I'm going to make sure that I don't make this mistake again in the future to the best of my ability. So after that trade, I was able to get myself together enough to take another trade. I don't know that it was a great trade, but it worked just enough. I mean, you can see it here on this chart, but let me switch over to the chart that I took the trade on. All right, so here we go. And as we can see, I took this short here, and so we had bounced off the bottom. You know, there was a trade that I missed that I could have taken and should have taken off of the previous day low, but I was still just messed up from this trade here. And so this one was a first entry and an engulfing second entry below this candle, and I figured we had enough room to the previous day close that it should be safe enough. I don't love the trade because, I mean, honestly, this at the time looked like one leg up. And so, you know, you can expect a second leg up. It's just, where's the second leg going to start from, you know? And so I did have kind of a theory that we would test this low still again, but I didn't know if it would be here or what. Thinking about it, you know, it's kind of a breakout of the previous day close. It filled the gap, and that might be all it wants to do for the day, and then just go up the rest of the day. So I feel a little bit fortunate or lucky. This trade worked just enough. I mean, here's where I got out of the trade, and here's where I got in the trade. So it worked just enough. I got 8 ticks. There was some slippage from the trade copier on the entry, which is something I've been experiencing lately with the sim leader account. But hey, I'll take the 8 ticks, and you know, that's all good. And then really, I just, you know, frustrated with the stream. There's a huge delay, and once people came into the chat, and I couldn't just talk through the microphone to respond because I knew they wouldn't hear my response for 5 minutes at a time. I just felt like, you know what, how am I going to continue trading? So what was it, like 8:30ish or something? I think I stopped trading. I don't know exactly when it was, but just decided, you know what, there's no point in continuing. I'm frustrated with my bad trade. I'm frustrated with the YouTube stream being like ridiculously delayed today and not being able to you know, do that the way I've been doing it lately. And so we could see, you know, essentially 2 legs up was met, and then you know, just shy of using the first 2 legs as 1 leg, and you know, just shy of that. So we'll see what happens, but I'm done for the day. I just, you know, I can recognize at this point when I shouldn't be trading anymore, and that's where I got to today. It was just like plainly obvious that today is not a day I should be trading, and you know, at least I'm aware of myself that much that I can recognize that in myself and change course, and you know, that's a positive too. So let's see here. So yeah, you can check out my live stream every day. I start basically at about 10 a.m. Eastern, and you know, today was the worst delay I've ever seen. I don't know what it was about today that caused that. Let's get back to here's the live market. So I don't know what the reason was, what caused it, but hopefully it won't be the same tomorrow. My internet seems to be running fine, so I really couldn't figure out what the deal was. So yeah, 2 and 1 for the day. 4 accounts green for the day, including 2 PAs, so that's all good. And evaluation 33 passed and will be a new 50K PA tomorrow. And let's see here, obviously the 1 loss on PA 8, unfortunate, but at least it's a small loss and I can recover it. And what else do I have to say here? Oh, the other thing is just, you know, PA7 is the one that I've been digging out of the grave for quite a while. Got it back to above starting balance. So with that opening trade on the account. So what do I got now? I've got about 1150 in drawdown, so I'm getting closer to a full drawdown. I'm going to continue to trade that account on the open trade. And right now, I'm just going to trade one PA on the open trade at a time, and maybe cycle through them. I'm not really sure. I'm going to see how it goes, but the PA trade is my most solid trade right now, right? Or what I say, the open trade, the Alp Orb trade is the most solid trade I've got right now, 14 and 1, 93%. So I want to take advantage of it on the PA accounts, but I also don't want to put too many of them at risk at the same time. So, I'm going to kind of judge it by how it looks in the morning, decide how aggressive or not I want to be with them as far as how many PAs to trade it on. But I'm going to have 4 PAs, and I'm going to always have at least 1 PA on the open trade every day. And, if the open trade looks really solid, like maybe I'll put a second PA on it as well. I just kind of have to feel it out. But yeah. So the poor trade led to frustration, and then the YouTube delay led to frustration, ended the day early, and just one of those days. I feel like it's better to just stop trading when I can feel this within myself than to make more mistakes or get more frustrated and do something I don't want to do and mess up an account. So that's the deal. And so I'll be back streaming live tomorrow, 10 a.m. to finish out the week, and hopefully I can finish out strong and bringing my win rate up for the week a little bit. Get some wins on the PAs. That's the biggest thing is now I'm going to have 4 PAs and 4 evaluations. And I have one more evaluation that's really close to passing. If I don't pass it tomorrow, which I probably won't, I'll probably pass it beginning of next week. And so then I'll have 5 PAs, which will be a match to the most I've ever had. And I'll have 3 evaluations. So at that point, that's been what I've been trying to work towards. And my goal is to have more PAs than evaluations, and then really start making a full effort to be more concentrated on payouts between those accounts, and then have the evaluations to be like the follow-up PAs to come for after I get payouts. So that's kind of the stage I'm working towards right now. And, we'll see how it goes from there. So I got to get going here. Appreciate everyone that's been watching. Appreciate everyone that's been using my code. If you haven't used my code and you want to use my code, there it is. 80% discount, 1-day pass, and half off resets till the end of the month. And I do really appreciate everyone that's using it. It's not like a lot of people have been using it, but the few of you that have, it's all helpful, and I appreciate it. So 207 wins, 48 losses overall for the year, 81%, 7-3 for the week, 70%, 2-1 for the day. Not great, not terrible, I guess, 67%. And the Alpine Orb holding up rock steady, 14-1, 93%, and a past evaluation, new PA. So all in all, a pretty good day, not a terrible day, just frustration. And I gotta clean it up. I gotta clean up those trades, and I've done a good job the last few weeks of not taking these kinds of trades, and I gotta just clean it up and remember what has been working for me lately, and just be aware of where I'm on the chart. And if I'm not paying close enough attention for whatever reason, then if I see a trade and I'm not ready to consider everything that's in play, then I gotta just skip the trade. So that's how I'll proceed moving forward. And I think I've said it all. All right. I'm out of here. Have a good day. Hope you had a good trading day, and let's get a good solid end of the week tomorrow. All right. Thanks for watching.